Global developments to impact Sri Lanka. Headlines: High interest rates to slow global economic growth. India's GDP grows an impressive 7.2%. China's GDP forecast cut. Risk to global economic growth was made further evident with Reuters reporting that the world's major central banks are still doubling down on inflation and will continue to hike interest rates. It cited the US Federal Reserve, which stated that its policy rate tightening cycle may not be over even after 10 increases. Further, the European Central Bank increased borrowing costs to a 22-year high, saying inflation is still too high and they may need to raise rates again. Impact on Sri Lanka. Constrained global growth is not good news for Sri Lanka, and results are already being felt. Sri Lanka's merchandise exports during the first 4 months of the year declined to $3.8 billion, down 10% compared to the same period last year. India's gross domestic product in the fiscal year 2023 grew by an impressive 7.2% year-on-year. India remains one of the fastest growing economies among major global players. Vivek Kumar, an economist at Quantico Research, speaking to Reuters, said that growth in the January to March quarter was 6.1%, driven by private consumption, public consumption, and investments, while narrowing of external trade deficit also provided comfort. Impact on Sri Lanka. Accelerated growth in India, now the world's fifth largest economy, aids Sri Lanka's recovery. India is Sri Lanka's third largest export market at about $1 billion per annum, and more significantly, accounts for about 65 to 70% of Colombo Port's transshipment volumes. 4 investment banks cut their 2023 growth forecasts for China. They now expect the world's second largest economy to expand between 5.2% and 5.7% this year, down from an earlier estimate range of 5.7% to 6.3%. Industrial output and retail sales growth in May were to have missed forecasts. In June, China's central bank reduced short-term interest rates to shore up growth and stimulate domestic demand. Impact on Sri Lanka. While China is not one of Sri Lanka's main export markets, the island nation hopes to attract over 150,000 Chinese tourists. A slowdown in the Chinese economy puts pressure on their citizens' discretionary spending. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, about 250,000 Chinese travelers visited the country each year. This dropped to less than 5,000 due to the pandemic restrictions. And that's a wrap for this week. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated on the latest developments in Sri Lanka. Until next time, have a great day.